Today we are going to learn how can you use compatible numbers to estimate. First, before we can learn how to use compatible numbers, we need to know what compatible numbers are. If we look at the definition on the page, it says compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to compute mentally. In today's lesson, you're going to do what you did yesterday, except if a number is close to 25, you're going to use 25 instead of 20 or 30. Let's look at our question. Nolan set up a blog for his friends to visit. Estimate the number of hits Nolan will have in 24 days. On the right in the picture, it says average number of hits per day, 41. So we are going to estimate 24 times 41. Normally, let's look at part B, where it says estimate 24 times 41. Normally, we would use rounding, and we would underline the 2 and look to the right and know that 24 would round to 20, and 41 would round to 40, and 20 times 40 is 800. And that would be a pretty good estimate. However, you can get closer if we use compatible numbers. 24 is close to 25. And we are going to keep 41, which is close to 40. When you count by 25s, think of quarters. We have 25 would be 1 quarter, then 50 would be 2 quarters, then 75 would be 3 quarters, and $1 or 100 cents would be 4 quarters. Then the pattern just continues. So 5 quarters would be 125. 6 quarters would be 150. 7 would be 175. And 8 would be 200 or $2. Let's look at part C. It is easy to find 25 times 40, since 25 and 40 are compatible numbers. What you just counted are 25s. And if we have 25 times 4, we have 25, 50, 75, 100. So 25 times 4 is 100. If 25 times 4 is 100, we're adding one more 0, so our answer is 1,000. 1,000 would be closer than 800, since 24 days is what we were estimating. It is closer to 25 than 20. This is not in your book, but we are going to do a few practice problems together. We are going to estimate these numbers by using compatible numbers. Let's start with the first one. We have 21 times 37. Well, in this case, 21 is closer to 20, not 25. So we are going to use 20 times 37 would round to 40. So 20 times 40. And 2 times 4 is 8. Then add your zeros. So our answer would be 800. Now let's look at the next one. We have 24 times 37. Well, 24 is closer to 25 than it is to 20. So in this case, we're going to do 25 times 37 is going to round to 40. Now, if we're going to count by 25s, I'm going to write them across the top. We have 25, then 50, then 75, then 100, then 125, 150, 175, and then you're not going to see it, but if we kept going, it would be 200, and then the pattern would just continue. So it would be 225, 250, 275, then 300. So we are going to multiply 25 times 40. Well, if we're counting by 25s, 4 times, we have 25, 50, 75, 100. So 25 times 4 would be 100, and then we're going to add our extra 0 and get 1,000. Let's look at the next one. We have 27 times 56. Well, 27 is closer to 25 than it is to 30. So we're going to change 27 to 25, and then we're going to round 56 to 60, because if we underline the digit in the tens place, the 6 tells me that the 5 needs to go up by 1. So now we need to count by 25 6 times. So we have 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150. So 150, and then add our 0. So our answer would be 1,500. For the next one, we have 26 times 81. Well, 26 is definitely closer to 25, times 81 would round to 80. So if I count by 25s 8 times, we have 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, then 200. I would get 200 and then add my extra 0. And for our last problem, we have 24, which would round to 25 using compatible numbers, times 73, which would round to 70. So 25 times 7 is 175 plus a 0. So the key in doing this is just being able to count quarters or being able to count by 25s. And if the number is closer to 25 than 20 or 30, we're going to use compatible numbers to round to 25. I have drawn a number line for you from 20 to 30. If we are using compatible numbers and rounding to 25, then if a number is 20, 21, or 22, you're going to round the number to 20. If the number is 28, 29, or 30, you're going to round the number to 30. But any of the numbers that are in blue, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27, are going to change to 25 when using compatible numbers. We are also going to practice counting by 25s to help us. So let's start down here. Use this in your notebook, please. We're going to count 1 quarter is 25. So 25 times 1 is 25. 2 quarters is 50. So 25 times 2 is 50. 3 quarters is 75. So 25 times 3 is 75. 4 quarters is $1 or 100. So 25 times 4 is 100. 5 quarters is 125. So 25 times 5 is 125. 25 times 6 is 150. Whoops, 50, sorry. 25 times 7 is 175. And 25 times 8 is 200. All I did was count by 25s. So if you get a problem where you need to use compatible numbers and use 25, use this pattern, and it just continues and goes on and on and on. If the number is not close to 25 or not one of the ones that I just circled for you in blue, just round it like you normally would to the nearest 10. Guided practice. Do you understand? In the example on the previous page, suppose the average number of hits per day was 61. If you estimate 24 times 61 is 25 times 60, what is the new estimate for the number of hits? Well, I'm going to write that number down here. So we have 25 times 60, 25 times 6. count by 25s. We have 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150. So 6 times 25 is 150, and then don't forget your 0. So 1,500 hits. Number 2. Rounding would give 20 times 60 as an estimate for 24 times 61. Why does 25 times 60 give a closer estimate than 20 times 60? Well, if we did 20 times 60, underline your basic facts, we would get 1,200. And the actual answer was 24 times 61. Well, since 24 is closer to 25, then this one would be closer. Number 3, 24 times 18. 24 is close to 25. That is one of those numbers that were in blue in your notes. Now, 18 is going to round to 20 because the 8 is going to tell me to round the 1 up. So we're going to do 25 times 20. That's a 20, not a 6. So 25 times 2, 25, 50. That would be 50, and then just add a 0. So your answer is 500. Let's do number 4. I moved it down below. 24 using compatible numbers is closer to 25 times 37 rounds to 40. And I'm going to do 25 times 4, which equals 100, and then add a 0. Number 5. I have 52 times 27. Well, 52 is going to round to 50, and 27 is one of those numbers that's closer to 25 than 30. So we're going to multiply that by 25, and I'm going to do 25 times 5. So if I count by 25s, I have 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, and then add my 0. Number 6, I have 25 times 59. Well, 25 is going to stay at 25, 59 rounds to 60, and 25 times 6 is 150. Just add your 0. For our last one, number 7, we have 18 times 19. Well, 18 is going to round to 20, and 19 is closer to 20 than 25. So 20 times 20 is 400. Just go slow and you will definitely get the hang of it. Remember, if your number is one of those blue numbers on the number line, 23, 24, 25, 26, or 27, use 25 as a compatible number. If it is not close to 25, just round it like you normally would. And remember to use your pattern when counting by 25s. Go ahead and do numbers 8 through 22 on the rest of this page. Please show me what you are using to round. And then on page 192, do numbers 23 and 25.